Hello again, day three and day two of the challenge. Very confusing. Apologies for making it so confusing for you. Today, I want to talk to you about how I made round about 13,000. I think it possibly could be more, because obviously I don't keep note of specific things that I've bought. But I want to talk to you about Calm Before the Storm. There have been two paintings. Calm Before the Storm was the first painting that I produced that I realised, wow, look at the money that can be made without even selling the painting. I think it was the first one that illustrated to me the power of the multiple income stream. And it was painted, I think it must have been 2016. It was just when we moved here. And it was the biggest painting I had painted to date at that point. And it was very, very... you'll see it in the if you got the email about this recording, then you would see it in the email. It's very dark. It was painted in 3 colours, and it was big. And I gifted it to my daughter when she moved out and moved up to Glasgow, because I thought it would look fantastic in a big tenement flat wall, and it does. So the painting has never left our possession. So I just think it's such a fantastic story. There is another painting that I've done that I'd have made more than this, but I did sell. I did sell it. In fact, I painted it umpteen times, and there was so many prints made of it, and I taught so many people. I think I taught 130 or something people how to paint this specific painting, and I was sick to death of it. I was absolutely scunnered painting this, and it was orange. It was an orange sky, a sunset with a sometimes with a lighthouse, sometimes with Ailsa Craig. It was a seascape. It was lovely, and I actually loved the original painting. It sold at an exhibition, and I sold all the spin-off paintings, and I taught it umpteen times, and I demoed, and there was cards made, posters made, mugs made, aprons made, cushions made. There was everything, and it sold and sold and sold. It was really, really popular until I retired it. And Calm Before the Storm is the story I want to tell, because it was actually before I had got involved with all the tote bags and create my own station, etc. It was right at the beginning of that. And also because we've still got the painting. So I think it's really, really interesting to read that. So in the email, you'll also see the list of the breakdown of how I made that money. Mainly, I'm going to run through the different areas. Teaching. It is a fantastic painting if you are an absolute beginner. Even though it was huge, even the big paintings, there were big paintings that even beginners learned how to paint, A to B60, so there were still massive paintings. They were fantastic for beginners. So I ran between 40 and 50 40 and 50 workshops, but teaching 40 to 50 people. So much less than the other painting, but because it was such a sizable painting that people got away with, there was a lot of materials. So the workshops were priced between 95 and 125, depending on what year you actually did it and how many people were in the workshop. So these workshops would run in halls, which had a lot less cost, and I could get more people in. And at that point, they were £95. If they were running the studio and there was only 5 or 6 people, then it would be 125. So all in all, let me have a wee look here. It was around about £5,000 to £6,000 I've made on workshops. Now, once I'd launched the Art Academy, the online teaching platform, I created an evergreen. An evergreen course is something that's pre-recorded, sits somewhere in the ether. Somebody pays for it and they download it and they work through it at their own pace. They work through it when they like. There is no involvement with me. There's no contact with me whatsoever. So it's evergreen. It's just there the whole time. So it's very much passive income. And I had a wee look this morning to see how many had sold of that. It's I think it's £65 on the website, or 60. 60. 35 people have bought this. So that's £2,000 on that. I demoed 6 times. I demoed this painting at art clubs and WI at Rurals. And that came to 500. Five times I demoed at 500. So they're £100 each. Each of these demo paintings that I produced, some of them didn't work, some of them did work, some of them would work more on it. So spin-off paintings, demo paintings came to about 1,500. There were prints made, so many prints. There was canvas prints, big prints, framed prints, mounted prints, working out about £2,000 for prints. Aprons and cushions, there weren't a huge amount then, that was only about 300. There were no mugs. There was cards and coasters totaling about 300. Now, I don't have exact figures in these, but the least number of cards I print in each design is 50, and same with the coasters. So they would come in, even at the bare minimum, 300. An interesting one to add on to this was I actually got a commission from Calm Before the Storm, but it was the to paint Calm Before the Storm. So somebody had saw in a gallery, had saw Calm Before the Storm painting, loved the style of it, got in touch, but wanted it in a landscape format with Luscantire, huge, 2 meters. And that was the biggest commission I ever did at £2,500. So although I am not painting a Calm Before the Storm, that Calm Before the Storm facilitated another sale. So don't forget about things like that. It's not just about finding out how to make money from that one painting, but that one painting can springboard other things. And I've got this wee listen down here, which is quite funny because Calm Before the Storm was in one calendar. The year that I painted it, it was featured in the calendar. So I had 150 calendars printed that year at a tenner each. So I've taken a 12th of that. 12th of that is Calm Before the Storm at 125. And then on top of all that, there was the trade orders. So the trade orders for cards, prints and coasters were big that year. The 2 years it ran for. It was one of the most popular ones at the time, which I always think is a bit strange because it was such a dark and, you know, it's an oppressive painting. But it was a really big seller trade-wise before I retired it. So you can see how all these things add up. Now, if it was painted in 2016, it was retired before COVID. It was retired before COVID. So that would be 2020. So in 4 years, there's been over £13,000 made from that painting, and I still have the painting. I'm still making money from it for the Calm Before the Storm Evergreen DIY course, and I can add it at any point if I want to, because people are still asking, do you know, do that big painting as a workshop anymore? I could roll that out this autumn. I could say, right, I'm going to do a big Calm Before the Storm workshop in Craigie Hall, and because it's in Craigie Hall, I can teach 15 to 20 people at £95 a head, let's say 50. I'm going to calculate that as if I can. 95 times 15. So that'd be another almost £1,500 in a day's work just along there to add to that. So you can see the different ways that you can make money. Now, this is before I've even contemplated adding anything else on, any sort of stationery, any tote bags, things like that, you know, mugs would have went down the storm. Calm Before the Storm went down the storm. So that was right at the very sort of beginning when I was looking at different ways to make money. And it's made that. So I hope that illustrates, and keep this in mind, folks, for your day 3 challenge, your final challenge, because I'm going to be asking you, I shouldn't really tell you, should I? I'm going to be asking you to find ways in which to make money from one image to a certain amount of money. And that's that. There I've let the cat out the bag. Cat out the bag. Anyway, folks, I hope you find that interesting. I just want to illustrate that it's not about making a painting, selling the painting, and that's you. We've still got the painting, and I can still make £1,500 a day from that painting. Whenever I like, I can bring the design back. You know, as long as you've got really good images, you can bring it back at any point. You can make money from that painting at any point. You are in control of that. The worst thing that you can do is make a piece of artwork, a 2D piece of artwork, and not take photographs and not the right photographs in order for it. Even if you don't use it, you are just chucking money away. Anyway, that's what Don't Be a Starving Artist is all about. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you in day 3.